is William Hartman. I have a burglary charge and 2 felony possessions and a theft by taking.
How long have you been in prison?
I've been in the facility for 14 months. I've been in this actual program since October 31st.
How do you get into this program? Because you didn't start here, did you?
The way we get in this program is typically when we're in general population, they have applications for different work pods and stuff like that. We volunteer, we fill out an application, any skills we might have, they take all that into account and they screen them, and based on our charges and our history, they decide who can and can't be in the program.
And how long have you actually been working in the program?
I've been working in this program since October 31st. I guess that's about 3 or 4 months.
How is it different here?
It's the schedules. Most of the schedules are about the same. We have we have access to the outside for the dogs. Besides that, we just do more work. We have a little more freedoms. It's a little more laid back. The officers give us a little more leeway and things like that.
Tell me about what it's like working with a dog in this program.
What it's like working with a dog in this program is it's almost hard to put in words. It's a really phenomenal thing. We're sitting here waiting for court dates, waiting to go down the road, and we have the opportunity to do something positive. We have the opportunity to feel like we're not just wasting our time waiting. We're actually doing something, and we're building skills that a lot of us don't have. A lot of us have never really been involved with something positive and felt the encouraging, motivating feeling that comes from that. So we're typically led back to a life of a crime or whatever that got us in here in the first place.
So forgive me for saying so, but you don't seem to me like the kind of guy that led a life of crime before you came here.
Well,
How did you get in? How did you get into that world?
it was a long string of events. We're all innocent, of course, in jail. But in my case, I'm actually innocent. I have an ex that kind of put charges on me. I was in the custody battle, so I'm really just kind of waiting to go to court and have my situation squashed, hopefully.
Tell me a little bit about the dog that you're working with.
Bronny's actually a really special story. I think July, they found him, Animal Control found him in an abandoned house, locked in an abandoned house, with his head drooped in a frying pan with old moldy food in it. He was completely malnutrition, malnourished, couldn't stand. They brought him in here in August, and I wasn't here then, but the guys that were said he couldn't even lift his head. They would put him in his room, and when other dogs passed by, they had a little game. They'd say, get him, and he'd just bark laying there. He couldn't get up or do anything really.
And tell me about his legs. Why his legs?
Due to malnutrition at such a young age, his bones didn't have the strength to develop properly, and they've just kind of grown up,
What does it mean to you to come in here and to have this animal rely on you for everything?
To me, it's really almost like an opportunity of a lifetime. The program itself, the whole concept, it's more than a second chance. It gives these dogs a second chance, but it also gives us something that we've never had. For one, you have us building a relationship with these dogs. You also have 2 guys are put on each dog, at least, sometimes 3. And 2 of these guys might be from complete opposite sides of society, who would have never hung out, done anything together in any other circumstance. Well, now they're put together on a campaign of love to come to to train these dogs, and with no motivation, no gain. We don't get anything out of this except for the satisfaction of knowing someone else we don't know is going to have this animal that they love. And it's a really, really special concept. We have criminals and police working together. We have rednecks and thugs working together. We have Christians and Muslims working together. We have all types of society coming together for absolutely no gain, except for just love. And it's like, these are the kinds of things that change lives. It could change the world. You know, it's so rare that we come up with a system or a program that's actually seemingly does any good. But here we learn to do something without selfish gain motivation, to do something for the sole sake of these animals and the homes they'll go to, and the partners that we have in doing it are the most least likely people to partner up with. And it's really just, we had an officer that has brought her dog in here before for us to watch. And to me that was such, you know, here I am, a criminal on the opposing side of society, and this sort of officer brought her animal in for us to watch. The trust there, what that says to us as the inmates. We had a celebration, a 2-year celebration on February 14th, where everybody involved in the program came and had a barbecue. And it was really cool. It was, you know, the way I said it before is our county inmate greens faded and badges went unseen. So we were just all here together, all here, you know, standing up for a purpose that's absolutely positive, 100% good.
Love does not strike me as the kind of word that you use in prison.
It's my favorite word.
What does a dog's love mean?
Oh, it's phenomenal. I mean, a lot of us guys in here, you know, a lot of these things, the things that these dogs need is love. So we're here to give these dogs something they need. They're giving it back to us in return. And a lot of us have never had love. A lot of us have, you know, come from broken homes or, you know, shattered situations. And, you know, we're broken as they are. And it's like, we get into a situation like this where there's this mutual love going on. And it's not something a lot of us have felt before. And it's, you know, it could be something that triggers us to realize the lives that we are living, realize the harm that we are doing to people for absolutely no reason. And you know, just, there's so much gain in I can't think of the word, the self-satisfaction you get from this animal. When you train them to the point where you can take them off the leash and they follow you, it's such a sense of an accomplishment. It's such a sense of, you know, pride. You know, you're like, I've done this. This dog loves me. There's something good about me.
Show me the kind of stuff that you've been working with him.
Baby, sit. Stay. Touch. Sit. Down. So serve. Down. Good boy. Relax. Sit.
That's beautiful. It's still, it's beautiful.
High five. Good boy.
Nice.
Good boy. Let's try pray. Want to pray? Pray. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy.
And why are you teaching these kind of things to him?
Help families get it, make obedience and submission to gain trust between the trainer or the handler and possible owners, and
Okay.
it gives them something to kind of focus on, gives them something
Right.
to do. And
So how long would you spend doing this kind of work with your dog throughout the day?
depending on the dog, usually somewhere between 10 minutes to 30 minutes.
Right.
And I try to do 3-4 times a day.
Yeah. Okay. Which is actually a great sort of span of time, because if you're constantly doing
Right,
it, it
they
kind of
get
gets
burnt out.
boring and burnt out. And so, and I always think that, you know, when you're doing these kind of obedience, compliance cues, when you're teaching that's making this dog absolutely adoptable, isn't it? It's getting
Right.
the dog to the point where a family comes along and says, oh my gosh, the dog can do so many things.
Right.
And it listens
very
and has great focus. Exactly.
Through these little tricks and these little training methods, they can gain this bond with the dog.
Yeah.
Like the feeling of having the dog follow you without the leash.
Do it. Go on then.
Baby, come on.
See, do you know how many people would love to have their dog follow them like that?
Right. Right.
That doesn't happen often. That's almost like you have a beautiful heel, a dog heeling right on your side off leash, and that doesn't happen very often. It takes a long time for people to get to that
To
point.
get one ready-made.
But I guess in here, all you have is time,
That's
really.
all we have. It's time.
So if we could just get people, families and people watching this to be able to devote just a little bit more time to their dogs, they could achieve what you all achieve.
Right.
I think that's
Well,
important.
and it's kind of it's a really cool thing because we give them time. They need patience. Well, not all of us have patience.
No.
And that's something they give us back. We learn
Yeah.
patience.
Yeah.
It's like our furry little friends are doing a little training of their own.
Yes,
They're
they
teaching
are.
us patience.
They are teaching you, and I think that's so. I think that's so amazing about animals that they do teach you to become
Absolutely.
a better person. You're not always going to be great. You are going to fail at times. We all do, but these animals, they help us
They do.
become better. I always say I have the greatest job in the world because I work with dogs every day.
Right.
I think anybody who does work with these animals knows what I mean. But I mean, seeing the bond that you all have.
The bond, the duality of it.
Yeah.
We're not just giving, we're receiving.
Yeah,
And they're not just receiving, they're giving.
yeah.
And they know it.
He
The
could be off
looks and-
anywhere now. He could be off anywhere, but he's choosing to stay right by you. Again, off leash, which again I think is a real testament to that bond.
Right.
So I think so much training centers on almost being kind of dominant and getting your animal to submit towards you, and which is just so wrong and so off. But this bond where the animal's really looking to you for direction and for guidance.
Well, and that's so true because what I've found is the slow walking, just walking with a leash, right beside you, changing directions, getting them. That builds so much trust. But
Yeah.
in the room, I meditate, and
Right.
a lot of times I'll meditate right in front of him,
Right.
and I'll focus on him, and just kind of try my best to project love, calmness, happiness. And he's the third dog I've been on,
Right.
and it's worked. It seemingly has worked on all three.
Yeah,
And they just, I sit with them, lay down, like when they're in the kennel, I'll get down every morning, I greet him, tell him I love him, good morning, everything else, lay down on the floor at his kennel and pet him. And it means the world to these dogs. They want that. And it dramatically influences their behavior.
can you do like a figure of 8 with him? Can you do? How many people would like to be able to do what he's just done with his dog? Getting a dog to heel right next to you off leash is very hard, especially when there's so many distractions around. But that's testament to the amount of time that these guys give these dogs. I guess you're really covered up with time here. You've got a lot of time to
Absolutely.
spend. But
Lots
I
of
think
time.
people on the outside also could spend just a little bit more time with their dogs. That would help immeasurably. Now, when you came in here, were you angry? If so, has the dog changed that?
It's changed. I'm kind of a special case. I have a really strange outlook on, well, I think it's a wonderful, normal outlook on life, but I'm really content with everything that comes my way. So for me, it really just solidified what I already felt. It's like I got it into population, or whatever you want to call it, and I was probably 8 months before I got into this program, and I just have a really positive outlook. So then when I got into this program, the foundation I already had, the tower that's been built on it has been really, it's really just kind of pushing me on.
How do you think you will be changed, if at all, when you leave here, because of your experience with these dogs?
Well, it's given me a bunch of ideas for the future. It's, the idea of dog training, for one, it's a career. It's a really good career, and it's meaningful. It's not selling stuff to people. You're selling love to people. It's like it's a product that's worth pushing to the masses. I have a real thing against materialism, let's say, and the idea of being a salesman of any form doesn't fly with me. So this is a career that, when you're out there trying to find a way to honestly make money, almost everything is pushing something that I'm against. Well, this is something that I'm not against. This is something I could feel positively about getting paid for making a living off of, and not go home feeling guilty that I gave somebody something they didn't want.
Do you feel like you will want to be a place where you will never come back?
Absolutely. I definitely feel, let's say, rehabilitated, so to speak. I mean, I mentioned that I'm innocent, but we're all guilty of something. That's one of the way I look at my time here is, I'm doing time for stuff I didn't get caught for. So, and I've got a lot of bad habits. I was a drug addict. And I feel extremely positive about that. I feel that, you know, the high, whatever it is we seek as addicts, this feeds that. This is something much better to be addicted to. And, you know, I have an addictive personality, so I figure rather than fight it, let's feed it something positive.
So it's interesting you say that now that's sort of the high that you used to get in your addiction now is being replaced with a high and more positive way of working with dogs. Can you expand on that a bit?
Well, it's kind of, it's you know, as addicts, we're seeking something, we're missing something. I personally feel that we grow up believing something about life, and as we get older, society, school, the government, they tell us something different. And they take the magic out of everything. You know, you start off thinking there's a Santa Claus, and then you find out there's not. And it's a bum deal. And a lot of us can't handle it. A lot of us are just like this, what is it all worth? What is it all worth? And then we find something like this. This shows worth, it shows value. It gives us something to regain hope in. It brings back some of the magic. And it's like, that right there is enough to realize getting high on drugs that are just hurting us and hurting other people, there is a replacement. There is something else we can do. There's a way to regain what we once thought existed. And this program's helping us, those of us that are willing to grasp it, helping us realize that that's still there.
Do you think that animals can bring people out, can change the way they feel?
Absolutely. Animals can definitely bring people out and change the way we feel. We watch it every day. I mean, you've got guys in here whose whole life they've acted tough. They've had to show face. They didn't want somebody taken from them, and a dog will get adopted, and 5 or 6 of us will be in our rooms crying. We're not so tough. We fall in love with these dogs. We had Hutch, one of my personal favorites. He got adopted last week, and it was heartbreak. It was bittersweet. It was like, you know, what we're here for is to get these dogs homes. But when they leave, we're like, wait a minute, where y'all taking my dog? And it's like, you know, it's really such a phenomenal thing to find something like this in a facility like this, in a place where this is the last place you'd expect to find a bunch of guys talking about love and happiness and positivity. We found it. They're making it happen.
And how are you going to feel when the dog gets adopted?
When this one, I just had one get adopted about 2 weeks ago, and I didn't feel too great. It was bittersweet. When I handed her off to Officer Lee to go meet her new parents, she looked at me, she goes, "Are you gonna be okay?" And I was like, yeah, I'll be okay. But it's one of those things, it's what we're here for. The bitter does not outweigh the sweet. The dogs are getting homes. We can envision what they're, you know, the happiness and the joy they bring, and we know that we played a major role in that. And that's, how many times have we done that in life?
Now there are people outside who say these inmates don't deserve to have these animals. They don't deserve to do what they're doing. What would you say to people like that?
I would say at this particular facility, we're detainees. We've not half of us haven't been convicted. We are being detained for court dates. Most of us have nonviolent charges. Most of us made simple mistakes, and we're costing taxpayers money. So we're providing a service. It's a good use of time. It's a good use of people, and not only is it a good use of money and time, it's also a really, really positive ingredient in rehabilitation. It's also a very, you know, there's a very high likelihood that a lot of people that don't come back won't come back because of this program. And that's, you know.
What would you say to other prisons in this country or around the world? Would you advise them to have a program like this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, to me, this program is the first step in changing the world. It's like, I have such high views on this program. Like, if more people would push this kind of an outlook, this kind of programming, so to speak, this kind of attitude, this kind of coming together, these are the kinds of things that change the world in a positive way. These are the kinds of things that promote a spirituality of a form, you know, promote the idea of positivity and bash down some of the materialistic, greedy, selfish attitudes of the world. We have a program here that is meshing opposite sides of society. It's meshing opposite sides, opposite cultures, it's bringing people together of all types. And it all starts with bringing us together with a dog. Who would have thought? But it seems to me like it would be easy to replicate in a lot of different aspects of life. And to see programs like this start bouncing up around, if they can take people like us, the dregs of society, if you will, and instill this in us, then surely you could instill it in everyone.